What's going on, everybody? This is RBT coming at you with something a little bit new. This is a preseason Boston Red Sox video. I'm a huge Red Sox fan. I know it's kind of dark. Well, it's really dark, but got a bunch of Red Sox stuff on the wall. Been a Red Sox fan since I was converted about '03. Only 16 years old, and I've been a Red Sox fan since I was like 8 or 9. But I used to be the biggest baseball fan, could name every stat, knew everything about the game, and that since I've grown up, I haven't had near as much as time. I've been doing so many other things that's kind of faded away. But something's just clicked with me, and I want to be back. I want to go back how I used to be. And last year, I'll tell you right now, I did not hardly pay attention at all. And now going back and looking at everything happening the last season, all the new rosters and the new teams, I'm completely lost. That 1 year is completely just took my knowledge of the game basically away from me. But I'm looking to go back into how I used to be, and here we go. I'm going to make a little Boston Red Sox video of what I know and my expectations for the year, and some things that I'm questioning about the team, and some things, the strong areas of the team, the weak areas of the team, things need to improve and whatnot, and just things like that. So here we go. Ortiz a few days ago signed that 1 year deal, so he's good for the year. The first question mark I look on this team is the bullpen, and we signed a bunch of guys to try out for the closing spot this spring, and that was my dad. And Andrew Bailey looks like he's going to secure that position. Well, he's the front runner anyway right now, and he came from the Athletics. Really good young guy. We signed a few other guys. We have Bobby Jinks. Something that we've done this off season, we signed for this fifth spot in the rotation. We've signed like 5 or 6 guys that have been successful at one point in their career, but have kind of tailed off, and we're looking to find that that player's max reach potential once again in Boston. Hopefully a new scene will spark that potential again. I'm not sure of all the guys. I remember Carlos Silva was one. But I'm pretty sure we got Chris freaking Carpenter, Theo Epstein, and he started for the NL and the All-Star game, so that's pretty freaking sweet. But right now, I'm looking at the depth chart. We have Daniel Bard, number 5, but we have a bunch of guys that have the potential to be a number 5 starter. And that health of Dice K is always a question, so we might need another guy to fill in for him, because he's probably going to get hurt this season, or at least one of the other starters is going to go down. But Daniel Bard, I'm kind of glad he's not going to be in the closer role, because last year he had, this is where my knowledge of the game kind of goes out of whack. I'm not sure if he closed a lot of last year, or he's just a setup man. I think he closed a little bit, because I think Papelbon was hurt last year, but he had 9 losses. And when you're not having 9 losses out of the bullpen, especially towards the very end, the closer or the setup man, that's not a good thing. And I don't think he's ever really started, so this is a new spot for him. I mean, he has the talent. He's got to develop another pitch. I think he has a fastball and a curve right now. He needs to add in like a slider or changeup. But I mean, he has the potential to be successful. He's still young, trying out some new things with him, and maybe he'll be successful as a starting pitcher. But like I said, they have a bunch, like 3 or 4 of the guys, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that have been successful at one point in their career, but are looking to reach their potential. And that this spring will test how they've been, how they're going to be, whatever. The 2 spots are a question mark going into the season. Well, actually 3 really. Carl Crawford at left field, how he's going to respond to that down year he had last year. We're all hoping he gets on base. One thing that we added him for was stolen bases, and the way he could make the pitcher have the thought of Carl Crawford on first base, a thing in the back of his mind, kind of defecting his pitching ability. But I mean, you can't steal bases when you can't get on base, when you don't get hits. That's one thing he struggled at last year, was getting hits. I think he had like a 220, 230 average last year. I think he got, as the season progressed, he got a little better, but not near what we signed him to that 5-6 year deal for, worth like $90 million. 2 other question marks is the shortstop position and right field position. The shortstop position needs to be manned for another 1 or 2 years until Jose Iglesias, the very talented shortstop in AAA right now, while his batting develops, while his hitting develops rather, because Jose Iglesias I've heard is one of the best defensive shortstops you will ever see, and that's a huge statement. But the problem is he cannot hit as of right now anyway. I mean, he has the potential to be a pretty nice hitter, but he batted last year 220 in AAA, and that's just not going to make it. That's just not going to work in the majors. And right now we have either Mike Aviles and Nick Pino's going to be battling out for the shortstop job. And during the spring, Nick Punto is a really good defensive shortstop, but he can't really hit. Mike Aviles came from the Royals. He's still a young guy, has a little bit of potential there, so we'll see how that works out. But and right now in the right field spot, last year we basically got nothing at right field. We had J.D. Drew, and he got hurt. Before he got hurt, he wasn't really doing too much. Right now we have Darnell McDonald, the guy, his first at bat. I think it was his first pitch in the majors at 32 years old with a home run. I think actually his first 2 at bats at a home run, both at bats. And then we traded Josh Reddick, and he was the only type of offensive spark we had at right field at all last year, any production whatsoever, and he had a little hot streak. And then we have Ryan Callis and Cody Ross. I can't think of the guy we have coming up in the organization, but I think it's something Westmoreland, but he has a lot of potential to be a great right fielder. So in these 2 positions, by the trading deadline, if we need a little bit more production to be successful and go to hopefully make the playoffs and go deeper into the playoffs, possibly to even a World Series, we have to. And if we need that production, we can afford to trade for either a shortstop or a right fielder that either has the rest of the year on the contract or another year or so in the contract. We can afford that because we need to have somewhat production there while Jose Iglesias and Westmoreland develops into the major league player that we're hoping to be. And for that to be possible, we need those 2 guys to develop as much as they can into not having to go to the majors and not necessarily being ready and affecting their performance as much as to make their mental game shoot down the roof. And we don't want that to be the case here. So those 2 guys are potential all-stars, and we don't want to bring them up too early. So if we trade for either of the positions and get some guy that has the rest of the year left in the contract, that gives them another year or so for those 2 guys to develop, and we'll see how that does. But Jared Saltamaki, I like this guy. He has potential at catcher. I like the trade. I'm kind of glad we didn't keep Veritek around. I mean, I know he's great at working with pitchers, but I mean, we needed to change there. Jared Saltamaki is still a young guy and has, I think, potential to be an all-star catcher. And Adrian Gonzalez is going to be a great guy. Very productive. Kevin Youkilis hopefully will stay healthy this year. There was hardly any production from him last year. Jacoby Ellsbury was a surprise. Hopefully he keeps that going. Dustin Pedroia, I mean, he had a little down year, but I mean, it would be a great year for anybody else. We have John Lester acing up the staff. Hopefully we'll get a healthy year out of Clay Buchholz. He has potential to be an all-star pitcher. Dice K, anything we got at him productive is a win. Seeing as he's had health issues and whatnot, I'm glad we didn't make a run at Yu Darvish, even though I drafted him in my fantasy league today. That pretty much wraps it up. It's just weird seeing the organization without Theo Epstein, but you can't really blame him, because if you have the opportunity to go to another team, another organization, and if you win an organization, because if Theo Epstein wins a World Series with the Cubs, he will go down as probably the best general manager ever in the history of Major League Baseball. Because if you take two teams traditionally rich like the Cubs and Red Sox 86 years out of a World Series, get them a win, and now the Cubs, they've been over 100 years out of a World Series. If he wins one there, he'll probably go down as the best general manager in the history of baseball, and he still has 15, 20, 30 years left. Still a really young guy. I wish we could have kept him around, but I don't blame him for the move. We got Chris Carpenter out of it, and he has potential to be an all-star pitcher. So, I mean, I like the approach that new general manager Ben Cherington is doing. Makes a lot of sense, actually. I mean, I think they signed them all to 1-year deals. So if you get nothing out of it, it's like a, how did somebody put it? Put it as a low risk, high reward deal, because you got potential all-star potential pitchers when the risk is really low. Giving them 1-year deals, not too much money. I mean, if they end up being successful, you can sign them to a long-term deal. Or, I mean, it's just a good little test. But I guess that's really it, guys. I don't really know if I want to make a prediction in this video. Bobby Valentine, I like Bobby Valentine as a manager, but I would have rather gone the approach of getting a younger guy that wants to stay around for a little bit longer. But I mean, it's not my decision. But he at max is going to be around under 5 years or so. I'd rather go in the direction of getting some guy that's ready for the long term, ready to build his name, ready to go down as a growing manager, and ready to be the face of the franchise. Because Bobby Valentine, if he wins, he'll just be around for another World Series or so. But it is what it is. With the Red Sox, we have a chance. Whoever the manager, we have a chance with the money that we have here. I'm hoping to go up to Fenway this year for a game, but it all depends. But my dad's yelling. I got to get off here, guys. Go Sox! Spring training's right around the corner. Pitchers and catchers are reporting all around the country. So I'm ready for baseball. It's probably the most pumped up I've been for baseball. I'm ready for baseball in a few years. So I guess that's it, guys. See you later in my next video. Roll Tide and go Sox!